We're coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines. Higher Education Minister Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane has been sacked. Buti Manamela is the new minister in that portfolio and will be deputized by Dr. Nomusa Dube-Ngube.
Been here at 6 o'clock early in the morning. Just 10 minutes before the departure, we were just told that it's closed, so we can't check in, we can't do nothing.
FlySafair has issued an apology to its passengers facing disruptions due to a pilot strike that has led to some flight cancellations.
It is the first time really that the fish charge is levied in the manner in which it has been levied.
Tempers flared in Tembisa as residents took to the streets to protest against soaring electricity costs.
If it weren't for the schoolboy rugby, the unions, even the clubs who are bringing these guys to, we wouldn't be where we are.
And the junior Boks arrived at OR Tambo to a hero's welcome after a successful World Rugby Under-20 campaign in Italy, where they beat New Zealand in the final. Good evening, welcome to Prime News on 3. I am Paulette Nell. It's an absolute pleasure to be in your company this evening. Let's start this news update with this breaking news for this evening. Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane has been fired as the Minister of Higher Education and Training. Her deputy, Buti Manamela, has been appointed as Minister of that portfolio. This was just announced in a press statement from the presidency, which says President Cyril Ramaphosa has replaced Nkabane with Manamela. Dr. Nomusa Dube-Ngube has been appointed as the new deputy minister. Nkabane was due to appear before the Committee of Higher Education and Training tomorrow to give account for the CETA chairperson nomination panel after she snubbed MPs in last week's meeting. In news just in, 4 suspects have been arrested in connection with the murder of popular SA DJ Opa John Sefoka, popularly known as a DJ Somebody. The arrests were made by the SAPS Political Killings Task Team, working closely with Gauteng organized crime detectives. Sefoka was killed in a hail of bullets in November 2022. All right, to this now, FlySafair has issued an apology to its passengers facing disruptions due to a pilot strike that has led to some flight cancellations. The industrial action involving about 200 FlySafair pilots affiliated with trade union Solidarity has caused frustration at OR Tambo International Airport. The airline cancelled 26 flights, leaving scores of passengers stranded. The pilots are demanding a 10.5% salary increase, while the employer is offering 5.7%.
Of frustration for scores of FlySafair passengers that found themselves in the middle of a wage dispute between the airline and its pilots.
I think, from traveling international, when you're traveling for so many hours and you hit the airports in South Africa and it's like, we're tired, we just want to get home, and coming in, if it has been cancelled, it is a little bit disappointing.
Been here at 6 o'clock early in the morning. Just 10 minutes before the departure, we were just told that it's closed, so we can't check in, we can't do nothing.
Pilots belonging to trade union Solidarity withdrew their labour, leading to the cancellation of 26 flights. The union says this was a last resort, accusing the employer of approaching the wage negotiations in bad faith.
The intentions of our one-day strike was initially not to disrupt or to limit disruptions and get SAFE back to the negotiation table. Their response was a 7-day lockout. So even if our members want to return to work today, they can't because they are locked out. They are locked out for 7 days, and that lockout is on condition that they must accept the current offer on the table of 5.7%. If they don't accept it within this 7 days, the lockout will be extended for another 7 days.
Has refuted this, describing the union's 10.5% wage demand and additional flight pay and bonuses as unsustainable.
The reality is that's a 10% increase on basic pay. Pilots' remuneration is quite complex. It's nuanced. There are flight pay things, there are allowances that are considered, there are bonuses. And actually, when one looks at the full cost to company increase that they are demanding, it's 20.1%. Now, these are individuals who are well paid. They are competitively paid compared to other airlines.
Has also dismissed claims of a stringent work schedule, maintaining that the rostering system for pilots is in line with industry standards. Katlego Logodi, SABC News at the OR Tambo International Airport.
Now, Ekurhuleni Mayor Nkosi Xhakaza on Gauteng's East Rand has announced the suspension of the fixed electricity charge of 126 Rand. The mayor earlier addressed Tembisa residents. The residents have been protesting over electricity tariff hikes. Disgruntled community members went on a rampage, barricading roads with rocks and burning tires. In April, Eskom increased its electricity tariffs by close to 13%, and municipal customers saw an 11.32% increase starting from July the 1st. Several vehicles, including a minibus and taxi, have been damaged.
I must say, the issue of the fixed charge, because this is the first time really that the fixed charge is levied in the manner in which it has been levied, and that there's been a review in the tariff structure for electricity in Ekurhuleni, and that has been an issue of concern for communities, in particular paying communities such as the community of Tembisa, and that since the 1st of July there has been various engagement, and those engagements were led in the main by the ward councillors, who have since brought the issue up to ourselves.
Welcome back onto this now. The case related to discharging a firearm in a public area against DFF leader Julius Malema and his bodyguard Adrian Snyman has been postponed to the 29th of September for judgment. The state and defence presented their closing arguments today in the East London Regional Court in the Eastern Cape.
7 years on, the case is finally concluding. Malema maintains that the case against him is a political witch hunt. He believes he will be acquitted of the charges because the state failed to prove its case.
The case has crumbled before the magistrate, and the prosecution messed up the case, and they must take full responsibility. But it's always the case when you pursue politics instead of pursuing the law.
The state is confident of a conviction on the matter.
The evidence was viewed by two different prosecutors, as your worship is aware, Advocate Smith as well as myself, and we both came to the same conclusion insofar as the evidence is concerned, and we both have more than 50 years of experience. My job is not to get the conviction at all costs, but to assist the court to come to the correct decision.
Lobby group AfriForum, who laid the charges against Malema and his co-accused, look forward to the judgment day.
Everyone who involves themselves with criminal and reckless activities, such as he has in this video, apparently, should be held accountable, not just politicians. And AfriForum has been involved in many of those cases on ground level as well. To say that we only focus on politicians would be dishonest.
Scores of EFF supporters are expected to be present when judgment will be delivered in support of Malema. Abongile Yankees, SABC News, East London.
South Africa has been very clear in supporting Western Sahara's quest for self-determination. The bonds between the two nations date back to the fight against apartheid, when the ANC and Polisario Front stood side by side. It has been decades since the United Nations Security Council adopted Resolution 690 of 1991, which made provision for a UN-supervised referendum that would allow for the people of Sahrawi to determine their own destination.
Western Sahara is located in North Africa, next to Morocco and Mauritania. Former colonial power Spain left the country in the 70s. Immediately after that, Morocco and Mauritania fought over the territory. The conflict ended in the late 70s, and Morocco annexed swathes of land belonging to Western Sahara. In 1979, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution reaffirming the inalienable rights of the people of Western Sahara to independence. South Africa has always been consistent in supporting Western Sahara's quest for self-determination.
Call for a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Western Sahara and East Timor, and we shall do our best to assist where we can.
And our government will remain seized of the processes underway in Kenya, in Chad, in Burundi, in Darfur, in the Sudan, Western Sahara, Cote d'Ivoire, Somalia, the Comoros, and the Central African Republic to find lasting peace and stability.
As part of our centenary celebrations, we hosted an international solidarity conference where far-reaching resolutions were taken, including support for Palestine, Western Sahara, and the Cubans who continue to face an economic blockade.
Pretoria also hosted the current Western Sahara President, Brahim Ghali, on numerous occasions.
Your visit to South Africa, Mr. President, is in many ways a reunion of comrades who share common views and common interests, and who together seek to struggle for freedom, self-determination, and territorial integrity.
Khalihle Khumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Land Reform Minister Mzwanele Nyonso and Abathembu King Buyelekhaya Dalinyebo have identified a piece of land to build permanent shelters for the displaced families affected by the recent floods that hit Mthatha in the Eastern Cape. Nyonso visited the king at his Nkululekweni Palace to discuss the release of land for the relocation of the families. Over a month ago, severe heavy rains and floods hit the Slovo Park and Dikoli areas, leaving more than 100 people dead.
The Minister of Land Reform, Abathembu King, and KSD local municipality inspected 3 potential sites for building houses for the flood victims. The first site is a 150-hectare arable land along the R61 road on the way to Mthatha Airport. The second and third sites are near the 14th Site Battalion, also not far from Mthatha Airport. Following the assessment, they selected one site that best suits the needs of the project.
We have agreed that the first one, the one that was identified by the municipality, it has come up that though the land is registered according to deeds under the rural development, but there are people who are occupying that particular land, which is arable land. That means there are people with PTOs.
The selected land, although arable and currently idle, may pose a challenge due to potential compensation claims from the landowners, as noted by the chief.
So we have agreed that we must ask the chief of that particular area, who is also here in this meeting, to go and consult those landowners or holders, let me say. So they are going to be consulted, and on the 22nd, we'll get the response.
The victims' stay at massacre centers has been extended, while government is busy with identification and selection of land to build them houses. Fundiswa Mhlekude, SABC News, Mthatha.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's shift our focus to this now. Canadian Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne says the ongoing tariff wars which are being experienced around the world are changing the nature of trade between countries. The tariff wars are being largely driven by the US, which is said to impose a 30% tariff on South African imports from the 1st of August.
South Africa is Canada's largest trading partner in Africa. In 2023, South Africa's exports to Canada were valued at around 8.3 billion rand. Citrus fruit, both fresh and dried, was the leading export category, accounting for around 1.7 billion rand, or just over 20% of the total export value.
And I think it should be the same for South Africa. You try to engage, negotiate the best possible deal. At the same time, you want to protect the worker and industry, and you want to build in your country. Prime Minister Carney has said something which is very inspiring to Canadian, that says that we can give more to ourselves than anyone can take away from us.
The Western Cape's economy is also expected to be hit hard by upcoming tariffs in the US.
We have decided to follow a particular strategy. We have developed a new export strategy. The export strategy focuses specifically on gaining new markets. Secondly, it's also to retain your current markets. And thirdly, to optimize the current value chain in terms of our export.
Ongoing negotiations between the Western Cape and Canada are expected to strengthen economic ties between the two even further. Corbin August, SABC News, Cape Town.
And in your sports news, the junior Springboks arrived at OR Tambo International Airport to a hero's welcome after a successful World Rugby Under-20 campaign in Italy, where they beat New Zealand in the final. It's the second time the junior Boks have risen to the level of world champions, with their first and only other championship title coming in 2012.
The junior Boks arrived in the Republic laden with the spoils of a successful World Rugby Under-20 Championship campaign. The captain, Riley Norton, followed in the footsteps of Springbok captain Siya Kolisi, bringing back a World Cup to South Africa. Conclusive proof that the junior Boks, much like the Springboks, are world beaters.
We take a lot of inspiration from the Springboks. That's where we want to be like them. So for them to do what they did, it's just unbelievable, and hopefully we can carry on being successful.
For most of the squad, like 8th man Wandile Mlaba, being able to arrive home as a world champion was an unforgettable experience.
I actually didn't know what to expect. The victory itself still hasn't sunk in yet, so yeah, it's just special. I mean, this country is so welcoming, so loving, and it's so special just to be a part of this.
The junior Boks triumph for the first time in 13 years is testament to the interventions made by SA Rugby. President Mark Alexander says that after the lows of 2016, there was a concerted effort to grow the game.
We beefed up the coaching. We made sure that the coach who coaches the team is of franchise level type of coach. We did that. We also had other systems. These guys work with the Springbok coaches as well. So the system is working, to be world champion.
For coach Kevin Foote, it is also about the vast network of schools that play rugby at a remarkably high level and feed the clubs and unions with the next generation of players.
If it weren't for the schoolboy rugby, the unions, even the clubs who are bringing these guys to, we wouldn't be where we are. So we're just so grateful for all the staff, all the players, all the teachers, everyone.
The World Rugby Under-20 Championship is a yearly event, and plans are already afoot to defend the title in Georgia in 2026. Simon Burke, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Well, with that, it's now time to hand over to the weather desk to see what the weather has in store for us. Stay tuned.
Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. We do have a cold front over the western parts of the Eastern Cape, with it some isolated to scattered showers and rain along the southwestern and southern coastal regions of the Western Cape. Now, isolated showers and thunder showers forecast over the Northern Cape, southern parts of the Free State, into the Eastern Cape and the southern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, becoming scattered over the northeastern parts of the Eastern Cape and the southeastern corner of the Northern Cape, while drizzle is expected along the escarpment of Limpopo. Now tomorrow, starting off with early morning fog patches over the western and southwestern interior and along the escarpment of KwaZulu-Natal as well as Mpumalanga. Now isolated showers and thunder showers expected through the central, southeastern as well as the eastern parts of the country, with some light precipitation over the extreme eastern parts of Limpopo. It will be scattered, however, over the southeastern parts of the Northern Cape and over the eastern parts of the Eastern Cape, with snowfall over the high-lying areas of Lesotho. South African Weather Service warning of severe thunderstorms over the extreme northeastern parts. That warning valid for tonight as well as tomorrow. Those storms possibly resulting in heavy downpours of rain, strong damaging winds, large amounts of small hail or excessive lightning. Daar down to 7 degrees tonight, -6 in Sutherland. We'll start off our day in Johannesburg at 8, tomorrow peaking at 17. It will be a cold day in Pietermaritzburg with 15, Makhanda peaking at 13, Riversdale a maximum of 21, George peaking at 19, Calvinia a high of 21. That's your weather. Do stay tuned to SABC News.
That's it for tonight. Much gratitude for joining us. Until next time, good night. God bless. Pula.